What's going on, guys? I have some more off-season talk here today for the 2012 NFL offseason, and I'm going back to the NFC West today to bring you guys some talk for the San Francisco 49ers. The team that took the league by storm last year, had a dominating 13-3 regular season, carried their momentum into the playoffs, and lost to the Giants in the NFC Championship game. Very hard-fought game. They almost went to the Super Bowl with first-year head coach Jim Harbaugh. And they were a great story of last year, kind of coming out of nowhere. Not a lot of preseason expectations for the 49ers as far as a playoff team or a dominating team at that. I mean, 13-3, not very many people saw that coming. But now with 2011 behind us, we have to look ahead to 2012. And what do the 49ers have to bring to the table in the NFC West this year? I'm still expecting them to be very tough in their division. I do think right now that they will be winning their division, but I'm showing you guys right here the depth chart here for receivers because I wanted to talk about the draft they had before I get around to expectations for this year. I was not a big fan of the A.J. Jenkins or the LaMichael James pick. I'm not sure if they plan to play Jenkins on the outside or if they want to play him in the slot. I would assume outside because they signed Mario Manningham, and I question the Jenkins pick because I did not think the 49ers would go wide receiver despite a lot of mock drafts saying they would. But if they did go receiver, I completely expected them to go in the direction of Stephen Hill out of Georgia Tech. Fast, tall, big wide receiver. I mean, that's the type of guy that I would expect them to draft to be the downfield threat. But no, they got A.J. Jenkins, the 6', 190-pounder out of Illinois. Not saying he's a bad receiver. I watched him play last year. I thought he would be a solid pick in like the second or third round. I was surprised to see his name called in the first round. Really surprised, actually. But I'm not sure it's really too much of a reach because he had like a mid-second round grade, and the 49ers didn't pick until the bottom of the second round anyway. And what was surprising for me was to see him go wide receiver in the first round, despite having signed Mario Manningham and Randy Moss this offseason. Obviously, still question marks. We haven't even seen these guys getting pads yet. Moss has been out of the game for a year now, and Manningham's more of a slot receiver. And then you have Crabtree on the outside, Kyle Williams. Ted Ginn Jr. has never been a great receiving threat, more of a return specialist type of guy. And so the Jenkins pick, I was able to get past that, but then the LaMichael James pick, that is the pick that I think is still very bad and unnecessary. Despite whatever happened with him in college, I think he's just a role player at best, not quite a Darren Sproles threat, although he has that speed and breakaway ability to go the distance anytime he touches the ball. He's not a three-down running back. He is a third-down running back, in my opinion, and a return specialist. And that's not why I think it was a bad pick. I think it was a bad pick because they have Frank Gore, Brandon Jacobs, Anthony Dixon, and Kendall Hunter. Kendall Hunter last year had 473 rushing yards, and receiving-wise, he had 195 receiving yards. LaMichael James is probably not going to double those numbers, and he's going to be buried on the depth chart unless they put him ahead of Kendall Hunter. And if he's not going to be in front of Kendall Hunter, then they just drafted a punt returner in the second round. I think that is a really bad pick because I wanted to see the 49ers do something in this draft to help prolong their success on the offensive side of the ball. And so maybe I would have gone in a different direction with a different receiver, but maybe A.J. Jenkins can be a solid outside type of guy. You never know if he'll be the next Hakeem Nicks or what he's going to be. But LaMichael James, I think that is a bad pick. Personally, I would have drafted offensive line to help protect the quarterback if it's going to be Alex Smith for the future or whoever it's going to be, and because they love to run the ball. And so I would have upgraded that offensive line a little bit. They don't have the most stellar offensive line, and there were still some great offensive line prospects available. I would have rather seen them get Kelechi Osemele over LaMichael James. But enough of those two guys now. I want to talk about how this team is going to be this year. I think they're going to be a very good team and a playoff team, and I think this is time now for Alex Smith. Last year he turned the corner, turned his career around a little bit, but still did not throw for very many touchdowns. 17 passing touchdowns last year. His best receiving threat and most consistent was Vernon Davis, who also had a tremendous playoffs with 10 catches for almost 300 yards in those 2 games and 4 touchdowns. And so Michael Crabtree, Randy Moss, Mario Manningham, A.J. Jenkins, Kyle Williams. Those are your 5 receivers right there you got to be looking out for. It's well upgraded from last year, especially if Randy Moss can be the Randy Moss super freak of the old. And of course, you'd like to see your first round draft pick pan out. The defense, one of the best in the league, one of the best linebacker cores you will see, with Navarro Bowman having a breakout year, Patrick Willis, Aldon Smith had an awesome rookie season, and then you also have Justin Smith, Dante Whitner, Deshaun Goldson, Carlos Rogers. This defense is very solid. They were #1 against the run last year. One of the reasons I loved watching this team is because they were defying what the NFL is all about right now. It's a passing league. You got to air it out. You got to play risk-reward defense, it seems, from a lot of teams, from a couple of last Super Bowl champions anyways, the Packers and the Saints. And then you get the San Francisco 49ers, whose strengths are running the ball and stopping the run. They're not bad against the pass either, but only throwing for 183 yards last year. I would expect that to pick up dramatically with the new receiver talent they have, but the one thing that was good about their passing game last year was not a lot of turnovers. They only threw 5 interceptions from Alex Smith. So I would expect this year for a much better offensive, more balanced offense from the San Francisco 49ers. I would expect more of the same from their defense, and I expect this to be one of the teams right here that is in the conversations towards the end of the year about being a #1 seed, about being a Super Bowl champion possibly. I do have high hopes and high expectations for the San Francisco 49ers. I want to see them do well. I think they will win their division right now. I believe they will be a very, very strong team. So leave your guys' feedback on the San Francisco 49ers. Leave a like on the video, please, if you enjoyed it. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.